Okay, so you want to be a drug lord. Mansions, private planes, a pet hippo, and a fortune so big that Pablo Escobar sat on the Forbes billionaire list for 7 straight years. The movies make it look like the ultimate business. Here's the problem. It is not a business at all. It is the single worst job on planet Earth. Not because of the danger, though that is real, but because of something the movies never show you. You can make all the money in the world and never ever be allowed to spend it. The money itself is the trap. First, let's kill a myth. You have heard that Escobar was worth $30 billion. That number is mostly legend. Forbes, working with the DEA, actually valued him closer to $3 billion at his peak, falling to around $1 billion by the end. Still staggering, but a fraction of the myth. What is real is the scale of the trade. The Medellin cartel is estimated to have supplied about 80% of all the cocaine entering the United States, so the money was enormous. The question this whole video answers is simple. If the money was that big, why did it never buy him peace? To understand the trap, follow the money from the very start. In the mountains of Colombia, a kilo of cocaine is worth only about $2,000. Move that same kilo into the United States, and it sells wholesale for $15,000 to $50,000. Break it down into tiny gram bags on a street corner, and it can bring in over $100,000. That is the most extreme markup in almost any product on earth. Multiply it across a whole country, and Americans spend on the order of $150 billion a year on illegal drugs, so the revenue is real. The problem is everything that happens next. Here is the first thing the movies lie about. It is all cash, and cash is astonishingly heavy. $1 million in $20 bills weighs about 110 pounds. A single suitcase. So $1 billion is not a number on a screen. It is a literal warehouse filled with tons of paper that you have to physically hide, guard, and move. You did not earn a fortune. You earned a mountain of paper bricks, and every one of them is evidence of a crime. Congratulations, your entire net worth is now a storage problem. And a mountain of cash does not just sit there safely. It rots. By the account of Escobar's own brother and bookkeeper, the cartel supposedly wrote off around 10% of its money every single year. Eaten by rats. Ruined by water. Lost to mold and buried barrels. They claim to spend $2,500 a month just on rubber bands to hold the bricks together. Now that is a single insider's legend, not audited accounting. But the economic truth underneath it is very real. When your product is physical cash, your fortune becomes a spoiling inventory, decaying in the dark, faster than you can ever use it. Now for the wall that ruins everything. You cannot simply spend it. In the United States, a bank must file an official report on any cash transaction over $10,000. So you cannot walk in and deposit $1 million. You cannot buy a mansion with a suitcase. The moment your cash touches the legal world, it lights up like an alarm. And trying to sneak it in by breaking it into smaller deposits has its own name, structuring, and it is a separate federal crime all by itself. So you are sitting on $1 billion that you are legally not allowed to touch. So how do you make dirty money usable? You pay a tax, a laundering tax. Professional money launderers historically charge a fee of around 8 to 10% to wash your cash and make it look legal. So, for every real spendable dollar you want, you lose a dime just cleaning it. This is the exact problem Breaking Bad was built on. Walter White buys a car wash, not because he likes cars but purely as a front to disguise the cash. And even that is not enough. His wife eventually shows him a storage unit with a pile of money so enormous she admits they can never launder it all in their lifetime. Let's follow a single dirty dollar all the way through, because this is the heart of it. It starts as $1 of revenue. First, a slice goes to bribes to the officials and police you must pay to stay free. Then a slice to the private army you need to protect the money. Then the laundering tax, another 10 cents gone. Then losses to rot and theft. And what finally survives, cleaned and safe, is a small fraction of where you started. The legendary fortune is a number on paper. The amount you can actually, safely enjoy, is a tiny sliver of it. And here is the twist that surprises everyone. The police are barely the reason. The United Nations estimates that globally, less than 1%, maybe as little as $1 in every 500 of laundered criminal money is ever actually seized. Almost none of it is caught. So the money is not really being lost to the law. it is being trapped by its own nature. The true enemy of the drug lord is not the DEA kicking down a door, it is a boring accounting rule. A $10,000 reporting line that quietly makes his entire fortune unusable. But say you accept all that, the rot, the tax, the trapped billions. There is still the violence tax, and it never stops. Everyone below you wants your throne. Every rival wants your territory, and the bigger cartel above you wants your cut. So you pour a fortune into bodyguards, safe houses, and informants, and you still sleep in a different bed every night. The money does not buy you a peaceful life. It buys you a giant target, painted on your back, that gets brighter with every dollar you make. The richer you get, the less safe you become. And this leads to the cruelest math of all. You can never retire. In a normal job, you save your money and one day you walk away. In this one, the moment you stop, you become a loose end. To your rivals, who no longer fear you. And to the law, which never forgets. There is no quiet retirement to a beach with your $1 billion. Because cashing out means becoming visible, and becoming visible means becoming a target. The business only has two real exits, and neither of them is retirement. The exits are a prison cell or a coffin. And history proves it, again and again. Pablo Escobar, the richest of them all, the man on the Forbes list, was shot dead on a rooftop in Medellin on December 2, 1993, one day after his 44th birthday. Joaquin El Chapo Guzman, the most powerful trafficker of the modern era, was caught, tried in an American court, and sentenced in 2019 to life in prison, plus 30 years. These are not unlucky exceptions. For the biggest names this business has ever produced, the ending is stunningly consistent. Not a mansion, a cell, or a grave. So run this so-called career through its two endings. The fantasy, untold riches, total power, a legend written about you for decades. And the reality, a warehouse of rotting cash you cannot spend, a 10% tax just to touch your own money, a target that grows with every dollar, no way to ever retire, and an ending that is almost always a cell or a coffin. Same job, but one version is a movie script written to thrill you. And the other is the cold arithmetic, which does not care how the story feels. So, should you become a drug lord? The honest answer is that it fails the most basic test of any job on earth. You can never actually collect your pay. You are not building wealth. You are piling up a liability that everyone around you wants to steal, and that the law will never let you spend. The product was never the drugs. The product was cash you can't use. Remember this. The richest outlaw in history died with more money than he could ever spend, and less freedom than the poorest honest man alive. That is not a business. It is a trap, with a body count.